Evening, guys. I've had a great day today. I've been, wow, not a lazy Sunday, but been away from the computers and been able to pull out some of my favourite vintage Stihl saws, and I had a couple of interesting questions about the S10 and also about the Stihl 08s, because I'm a huge fan of the Stihl 08s, and I had a count today, so I was pulling out some of my 08s, and so I have 16 of them complete, and I have 4 or 5 chassis which for one reason or another may have some interest, and I was looking at the different variations of them. I thought I'd share a few with you, and a couple of the duplicates I'm going to reluctantly sell, just because I mentioned this to a gentleman the other day. I don't know if any of you have seen that Monty Python sketch where the man is in the restaurant, and he's a huge set of a man, and he's completely full, and the waiter comes along and offers him one tiny morsel and he just can't eat it, and he eats it and then he explodes. That's where my collection is. So I can't accept any more saws just because there's just too many. So some of the duplicates I'll sell. So on the 08s, they're really interesting because they started life in '63, and what you'll notice about some of the 08s is the number of denominations is quite incredible. So the older style, if you look in the background here, so I've got a mixture of different saws. They're not all 08s out here today, but some of the older saws, a little bit like if you look at the BLK and the Contra, the colour is, instead of being like a steel orange, it's a red. So the older saws were a darker shade. So you notice a couple of my 08s, the S10, it represents more of a red than an orange. Then a few of the other 08s that are out, they actually have more of an orange top on them. So to recap a few of the changes or a few of the differences, early ones were points ignition, then you had the SEM or the electronic ignition variation. Some of them had momentary kill switch, others had the toggle kill switch, and that's interesting in itself as well in a way. There were 3 different styles of flywheel arrangement. So all of these which I have on the pull start housings, you'll notice that some have the badge which is riveted on like the old Stihl logo, some have the Stihl logo molded into the side of the pulley, a little bit like on some of the early versions of the Contra and other saws. Some have the orange set steel badge set into the pulley. Typically that's set on the ones with the electronic quick stop, and so then they're made in Brazil. And so, yeah, later ones with a chain brake. So there's a myriad of different options on the saws, and so you end up, when you're collecting them, you end up having loads. So why do I love them so much? Well, they're just in the nicest way, it's a brute force ignorant engine. It's a little bit like the Husqvarna 65, which followed a few years after this, and anybody that's used the 65 will know exactly what I mean. You'll place it onto wood, and in its own unrefined fashion it will just tear through it, and that's what these creatures do. They're just fantastic. Non-AV, they have side fill for the fuel, the oil tank is outboard, as is the oil pump, so it's not integral to the engine casing. The oil pump is actually carried on the outside. Can on paper run from a 17 to a 21. This is fitted with a 20, I think it's a 20-inch nominal bar, 404, and that's of course the other options were that you could run them 404, and you could also, the later versions, they started switching them over to 3/8. Could have them with a standard clutch just with the 7-tooth sprocket actually in part of the clutch, or you had a spline option. So I have both as well. So this girl's running a splined clutch drum, running a 404 rim sprocket. It's a period vintage, beautiful 404 chain, genuine Stihl, solid nose, Duramatic bar, original exhaust, and I just love using these saws. So I thought I'd show you cutting in contrast to the S10 I was cutting with earlier, and show you how this girl runs. Just when they're set up well, they're just beautiful engines. So this girl, when she was, so she's probably been on the collection for, do you know, if I start a video, the emergency services go by. So she's been on the shelf with me for maybe 2.5 years, this sort, and then just a little while back she had a correct Tillotson carburettor rebuild just to make her perfect, manifold gaskets. She had a correct Stihl fuel pickup pipe, because they're a little bit unusual for these tanks. They have a very large opening at the top of the fuel pipe pickup, which when it's pressed into the tank, the fuel molding with the fuel hose attachment then forces it and splays it out and gives you a fuel tight seal. So it's a very specific fuel pipe, and wouldn't be easy to copy one, not in any shape or form. Had a pull start rebuild as well, and but it's just a gorgeous example. Right guys, let me show you what a well configured, hopefully, what a well configured 08 cut's like. Hey. So I've got some 13-inch conifer. Hey guys, so there she is. That's one of my beautiful 08S's, and again, not a massively high revving engine, but just so methodical. Could cut literally anything and really a nice versatile machine as well, to be able to switch them over with a rim sprocket and run them on 3/8 full chisel if anybody wanted, particularly as she has a solid nose bar arrangement on this particular saw. Just gives you a huge amount of flexibility, and they are just beautiful, beautiful machines to cut with. I'll show her on a restart. So this might be one of the ones which goes up for sale undamaged, other than a couple of fins missing on the left. Other than that, she's in beautiful original condition, even with the little rubber or the little plastic. Another emergency service. Another ambulance. So even has the little baby pull-out foot to stand on while you start it over. Okay guys, so let me show her on a restart for you. Thanks for watching, guys. That's one of my, she's going to stay there, one of my gorgeous 08s with a few of her brothers and sisters out. Bye for now.